Hello everyone, welcome back once again to TCR Trinity Competitive Racing. We are back with you guys once again here in Season 12 for Round 6 of this Platinum class. And we are here in Austria at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg. This is a very, very quick, short circuit, and it's very, very exciting. Brings on lots of battling because we've got 3 different DRS zones to work with here tonight. So, welcome once again. It's Balloon Machine with you guys in the booth, and with me in the booth is Fire Up Flow. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's doing great, Blaine. Super excited to be here. It was a fun race last night. Looks like Silver had a fun race as well. Austria always brings a lot of good stuff. It's just it's a fast track, a lot of laps, but it's fantastic, and it's gonna be fun to see the strategy play out. I mean, we can already see Mebe putting in the fastest lap on medium, so it's gonna be a fun night, and yeah, excited to get into it.
And there is Breezy crossing the line, and he takes away provisional pole at the moment with a 104.0, and then comes his teammate, Apprentice, right across the line behind him with another quick time of a 104.0. I mean, these two Red Bulls, they started off the season really, really well, but they've unfortunately fallen back a little bit since then. They're now currently sitting in 4th place and trying to defend their position there very closely from the McLarens of Babuki and Zeppelin. Yet at the front, we have Passassin and FYKV who are currently leading the championship in both the Constructors, and Passassin is also leading the Drivers' Championship at the moment. But as I look onto the field right now, Passassin is currently 10th. He's trying out the medium tires here tonight, trying to see if that will work out for him. But Apprentice and Breezy right up at the top of the standings in qualifying here, but still lots of time to go, about 12 minutes. So I'm sure this is going to change around. But Fire Up Flow, let me ask you here, I'm sure you've raced around Austria many, many, many times. Is it any different on this new game? And also in general, do you like the track? What's so special about it?
Yeah, great question, Boyd. I love this track overall. It's just a lot of fun, and it is slightly different, but at the end of the day, it is still going to be Austria. You know, turn 3 is still going to be tough coming out of there. You want to keep as soft as you can on the accelerator, not to spin out. I would not be surprised at all if we see a couple spin outs coming out there. You know, turn 3, turn 4, that's going to be the places we're going to be looking for most overtakes. You know, going into turn 1, most of the time you're not going to try to go for an overtake. You're going to try to stay in the DRS, get as close as possible, and try to make that turn in turn 3 and turn 4. But it's just a fun track. You know, there's lots of places you can battle through multiple corners. And again, I mean, the strategy is going to be fun to see. I saw Passassin on YouTube post a time trial at least of a 2.8. So just to give you an idea. So I'm not even surprised to see him put on medium tires to start. It could give him a really good advantage going into the race if he can put in a decent time, you know, maybe be in the top 5 on medium. So that'd be really impressive.
All right, and watching on board now with Stanley. He has not set a time in the session just yet, but he is coming up the hill right now into turn 2 and slams on the brakes there right after the 100-meter board and turns it in. And oh, he's getting a little bit of a glitchy run there. I'm not sure if it's just on my screen here, but definitely over the last couple of days in Austria, for some reason, we've had a lot of connection issues for a lot of drivers. Yep. So I'm hoping that's not going to affect too many drivers here tonight in this race. It definitely affected me absolutely horribly in the silver race. I pretty much could not get any close to any car because I would get damaged or get spun off. But yeah, it's quite a good time so far for Stanley as he now comes into the last couple of corners. His teammate is right in front of him as well, setting a time. His teammate goes up into 5th place with a 104.4, and Stanley is going to only be in 15th place, so it was definitely a messy run out of that corner where we saw his car glitch, so maybe it wasn't that much of a glitch after all.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Glenn, you're right about glitches. I didn't have it personally too much in the race last night, but in front of me, I watched W almost take out, I think it was Perry, who just all of a sudden ended up, not his fault at all, but ended up in the middle of track on the start-finish straight. It was really crazy, and honestly, I think it cost him the place in front of me. So, I mean, hopefully that doesn't affect the race at all tonight. But as we can see, I'm on board at least with Assassin right now, doing his hot lap on mediums. Very interested to see what kind of time he's going to put in. If he puts in the top 10 time, I still think we might see him go to soft. You do want to be as close as you can. Coming around the last corner, it's looking like a really good lap. Let's see what he does. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, 3.5 on the mediums. I think he's going to be very happy with that.
Wow, that is an unbelievable time on a medium tire here tonight. I am very surprised to see that, but we will see if maybe anyone still knocks him off of that time. Still got 8 minutes to go. Breezy has just finished another lap, done a 1:04.0. So improving, but they're definitely not getting close to Possession. But look at that, maybe also on the medium tire. He's done 2 laps on that tire, and he's good enough for second place at the moment. So I'm not sure if this is maybe just the track is better suitable for the mediums, or these guys are just finding that additional pace on those different tires. It's different. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it really is, Blaine. I think they honestly are. Excuse me, I think they honestly are almost in another level right now. But at the same time, the track could be evolving, and we can still see guys put in quicker times. Of course, you know how it is. You know, you might not always set your best time in the first lap. You're always trying to put in banker laps. Second lap, you push a little harder, and the third lap, you go as fast as possible. As we see Apparatus get a little bit closer to Assassin. I mean, a 3.5 on mediums. I'd be surprised if he ever puts on softs, because he's at least going to be in the top 5 no matter what happens, and just being on those mediums is going to do one well for strategy in the long run. So I don't expect to see Assassin put on the softs today, at least in qualifying.
Yeah, some really quick times on the board there from Assassin, Pradis, Breezy, maybe Bamboo is not very far behind, and Mr. Psycho Sane either. So there's definitely a very close fight for the front rows to start the race here tonight. But also looking through some messages coming in, and TCR Jones is nice enough to let us know that this race is going to turn wet midway through. That is going to be very interesting. Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah. You know, that makes a lot more sense. I mean, obviously, Assassin is really fast on the mediums to begin with, but it makes a lot of sense for him to just, no matter what he does, honestly, even if he drops back to, let's say, 5th blend, I mean, he might as well stay on mediums, and he's honestly going to, you know, depending on when the rain comes, he's going to try not to pit before the rain. Makes complete sense. I'm actually surprised more people aren't putting on mediums. But, I mean, you know, I guess we don't know exactly how long the rain's going to come, and those softs can easily do, you know, 14, 15 laps, and honestly, if you wanted to stretch them out, probably a little bit farther out, wouldn't you say, Blin?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of people trying out different strategies. Last night I saw people struggling towards the end of the race there on a brand new set of soft tires just with a couple of laps to go, and that VSC, I think, really helped out the front 2 runners. But it could be anything here tonight, honestly. It's such an interesting track because it's got very big runoff spaces, so you wouldn't think that safety cars are common, but they actually are. We get lots of safety cars around here, lots of big incidents. Weather is huge surprises all the time, and tonight is going to be another one as well. So I really don't know what to expect yet. I did see a couple of drivers glitching a little bit as well, so that could be a factor. Everything and anything could happen here tonight. But just looking at the Drivers' Championship, Assassin leading the Drivers' Championship with 85 points, 007 in second with 56, and Breezy in third with 43, with Sequid in fourth place with 40 points. I do not see Sequit on the board here tonight, so he did not make it into this race. He is a reserve, actually, just to mention that. He's a reserve who led the championship just a couple of rounds ago, and now is sitting in 4th place with 40 points. That's pretty impressive there. Then we've got KGB in 5th place with 38. Bamboo is tied with Chatty Duck for 6th place with 34 points to their name. And then Stanley with 32 in 8th. Apprentice is 9th with 25. And FYKV in 10th place with 24 points. So very close fight in the midfield. And then we've got the battle between Assassin and 007 really for the lead of the championship at the moment. So I don't think right now 007 is challenging too much on Assassin. The difference in the time is about a second. And they are both on the medium tires. 007 has actually just switched over to a brand new set of medium tires. So maybe that first lap was just a banker lap on a soft to see if he can possibly improve that. I mean, that would be an interesting situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, and yep, Mebe gets right up there, just barely beating Assassin. And, as you're talking, Blinn, I was thinking about strategy. If we think midway through the race, that's 18 laps. So the question can be, depending on when the rain comes, can softs do 18 full laps? And that's really what the drivers are going to have to be thinking about. And they're going to be constantly, hopefully asking Jeff for the weather. Not that he gives good updates, but they're going to have to be keeping an eye on it. Gosh, I am almost very happy that the rain is coming in, just like we saw in real life at Russia. It can always shake things up, even if there's only a few laps left. So it's going to be really exciting to see how they really play it out. And it looks like Assassin's on softs now. Yeah, and he might be going out there on softs. I don't know if he's doing it for like a banker lap and maybe just, hitting the brakes at the end of the lap or what, but looks like he might be on softs. I question that he's got to know that the rain's coming, so maybe they know something more than we do. But I'd be surprised to see him try to get first just to be on, or just to get first and be on softs. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with him.
Yeah, we've got another interesting reserve driver here today. It's Dreamzy. So I think this week he's raced in all of the classes, both silver and gold and now platinum. So that is quite interesting to see him here. Let's see how he does. We've got a bunch of people on their last final hot laps, I think, because we've only got about 2 minutes to go in qualifying. Bats Plus right now on the lap, currently sitting in 9th place, but definitely wants to improve as he's hasn't had really too much luck this season in this particular class, but we'll see if he can improve on that. So yeah, who else is out there right now? We've got a bunch of people: Psycho Sane, Deathwish Tricky, Landon, KGB Black Angel, Assassin, and Breezy are getting ready for a lap as well.
Yep. Assassin's going through turn 3 right now, getting ready for his last out lap, and I think Mebe's a little bit behind him. Again, I'm almost very surprised. I don't know about you, Blinn, but I'm surprised to see Assassin out on the sauce right now. I don't know. I feel like he would want to be on those mediums because, at least in my race last night, I don't know about yours, Blinn, but the mediums hold up just fine, especially at the start of the race. We had a wet qualifying for our gold race, and it was a big mix, and I think you were commentating on it. It was a big mix of mediums and soft guys, and it wasn't like the soft guys were flying through the mediums at the beginning. So it's going to be interesting, and then, as Assassin comes around the last corner, he's going to put in a hot lap.
Well, let's see how this is going to turn out. So here comes Assassin on his last hot lap in this qualifying session now, coming up the hill into turn 2, or technically turn 3 on the track, but we really don't consider that other one as a turn. You're coming through that completely flat out up the hill, but now he opens up the DRS, and he's going to be running down into turn 4, and this is where it starts getting tricky on this track. getting nice rotation through there and a beautiful exit there using all of the curb. We've got the regular track limits enabled here tonight, so as long as the drivers keep a wheel on the track or on the red and white curbs, they should be okay. That was a little bit wide there from Passassin as he makes his way through turns 6, 7, and 8, and now just a couple more turns to go, 9 and 10. Is he going to be running down through this? He almost doesn't lift off through there, but does downshift. And now the last corner is done with. He's going to be coming down to the line. Maybe has beat him. He is slowing down.
Yep.
And he is going to keep his medium tires on. And he's going to be starting from third with Mebi keeping pole position. And he does not improve on this last lap. Apratis in second, Passassin in third, Breezy in fourth. Deathwish Tricky. Is he on a hot lap? No, he's coming into the pits right now. So he's going to be starting in fifth. Then we have Psycho Sane in sixth. Bats Plus in 7th, Dreamsy in 8th, Bamboo in 9th, and Landon in the 10th place. So those guys are going to be locked in on the medium or soft tires, except for Assassin on those mediums.
Yep, he's gonna be in a great position. Like I said, buddy, the mediums are not bad off the start by any means. They keep together with the softs. Yep. He's the only one in the top. I mean, geez, top 10 with the mediums on, so he's going to be in a really good spot, especially if he can hold out with the rain. So, I mean, no surprise here. I think Passassin really looking in the driver's seat, no pun intended. And I don't know if he threw on the softs almost as a bluff or what, but I think he knew that he was always going to be on mediums. So, hats off to him. What an amazing lap for the mediums.
There we go. So that's the short qualifying session here tonight for round 6 in the Platinum class in season 12 here at the Austrian Grand Prix. Let's get ready for the race. And as we know, it's going to get exciting there because we have some weather coming through about midway in the race according to the weather forecast in qualifying. So we'll see if that changes on this game. It could also come a little bit early, could come later. It could take a while to actually affect the racing conditions. Anything could really happen here tonight, as we've said before. So let's get ready as the drivers now are figuring out their strategies. It looks like somebody has pressed the proceed button a little bit too early there. That's probably going to get noted.
Yep, that's tough. Luckily for this track, it isn't too much of a decision on strategy. I think most guys have their decision ready. They know they're going to go soft, about 15 laps to mediums is the usual, assuming there's no weather. So yeah, that is unfortunate, but most of the guys will know what they're doing. And as we see him go off for the formation lap again, it looks so dry out there, and it's going to be fun to see the rain start coming and watch to see how the drivers react. We'll probably see a couple pit early, maybe a couple pit go a little bit later, and see what they can do. Glenn, it's going to be a fun race.
Absolutely. I mean, no matter what happens, I'm sure this is going to be another exciting race in this Platinum class. We did run through the top 10 starting, but below Landon in P10, we have Zeppelin in 11th, KGB Black Angel in 12th, 007, the one that's currently the main rival for Passassin and his championship lead, is starting from 13th place on the medium tires as well. We have P-Dog Peyton in 14th, FYKV in 15th, Stanley in 16th, and Claudio in 17th place. A little bit of a mix of tires in the top 10. Well, just the one driver, Passassin, on the mediums. But in the bottom 7 places, we've got Zeppelin, Black Angel, and 007 on mediums, as well as FYKV, Stanley, and Claudio. But P-Dog Peyton is going for the soft tire. And let's see if that strategy works out for him. I mean, honestly, it could be either way. It's a one-stop race here unless we have some safety cars and major incidents. But other than that, I think Passassin is really just going for the long term, and he thinks he's got the pace on those medium tires. I'm sure he has. He showed that in qualifying. So let's see what's going to start at this race now.
Yep. Absolutely. This is going to be a fun start. It's fun going into turn 1. And we might see a lot of guys taking a little bit more risk, knowing they can go wide on the left side. But I actually did go wide last night, and it is tough on the outside. So you want to be as careful as possible. Hit the gas. You could lose it. And we got to remember, we're in Platinum. They don't have a line at all. So going into this first couple turns, it's always tough. It's tough. It's hard to judge exactly where to brake. But I think this is always exciting right before the race. Take it away, Blaine.
We've got 3, 4, and 5 lights on the board. And the lights go out. A little bit of a glitchy start there, but we go racing now. Maybe in the Pratis up into the lead of the race into turn 1. And then also Breezy making some way there around Passassin into P3. And up the hill they go for the first time now. A little bit of a low connection on both Mebi and the Pratis. They're sort of switching between red and disconnected, unfortunately, on my screen. But right now they're making their way through turn 3, and they make it there very nicely. Oh, it looks like a Pratis is now trying to make an attack on Breezy, or Breezy on the Pratis. A little bit hard to tell with the low connections on those two drivers, but we'll keep an eye on that. But a couple of positions already made up there at the start, but maybe back into the lead now where he started. So that was a very exciting lap 1, and we're almost at the end of the first lap already. That's how short this track is.
Yep, absolutely, Blaine, and so far so good. Everyone looks to be pretty clean, and it's exciting to see. I think Passassin lost 1 spot, but at the same time, you know, he's not worried. He's got the medium tires, and once those guys pits in front of him, he's going to have a lot of clean air. So I think he's just going to, you know, bite his time. He's well above bats right now, and we see Bam make a good pass into turn 1, and away we go.
Yeah, everybody's super close to each other right now as they're coming up on lap 2, up the hill again into turn 3 right now as we're watching Passassin. He's pretty close to Breezy, but not really close enough to make anything happen. No DRS enabled yet. It will be enabled on the next lap, and then we'll be able to see some nice DRS overtakes and DRS trains all over this track. There's 3 different zones here that you can use, so it really gives you so much opportunity for passing. And right now everybody's keeping within that 1 second of each other, except for Psycho Sane, who's dropped just below that 1 second behind Deathwish. So it is still a very, very close race.
Yep, absolutely. And now it's just going to be, now it's really going to be Mebe, and it's going to be interesting to see Apparatus and Breezy. We don't know exactly if they're going to be, and Mebe puts in the fastest lap as we expect, but we don't know if they're going to be talking. You know, we don't know who is going to have more pace than the other. It's really going to be interesting to see if Apparatus try to attack, and if Breezy is going to do the same. I mean, they're all just going to end up in this DRS train, and I think Assassin's going to be the one that's going to try to make sure that he gets out behind Bats. And then this group of 4 is going to stay out in front, and that's exactly what Passassin would want in this situation. Even though he is in 4th, he feels, again, no pun intended, but he does feel in the driver's seat at this point, that's for sure.
Well, we've just seen them go through the DRS zone for the first time. Nothing really happening there. Everybody's playing it nice and patient. But we're going to have a whole lap now with the DRS zones, all enabled, including the start-finish straight. So let's see if there's going to be any moves happening there. We're going to stay on board here with Passassin as he comes around the last corner now. Is he going to be close enough to make a move on Breezy, or is anyone in front of him going to possibly make any moves here? Apparatus gaining on Mebi slowly. Nothing happening just yet, but now they have a really long rundown into turn 4. And let's see if anything can happen here. Or into turn 3, sorry. Oh, Apparatus, yep. There he goes. Ooh. Down the inside, a little bit deep there, a little bit of contact with Mebi. Mebi still keeps the position.
Why don't I see either of them with DRS?
It looks like neither of them got DRS for some reason. That is very, very odd.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just a glitch or one of them had it, but they looked like they were staying side by side. Apparatus gets in front of the Ferrari. Well done. Well done. Very clean by both of them. And that's going to bring Breezy into play for sure, because now he doesn't feel, you know, he's against his teammate or anything like that. And I think Mebe is going to have to do he's going to have a tough job staying in front of him. Let's see. Let me see if I can see how much ERS each of them has. Oh, Breezy has plenty. Mebe has a little bit less. They should be okay for now, but we're probably going to see a move into from Breezy into turn 3 and possibly turn 4 as well.
Well, here they come through turn one, nice and close behind each other. All three of them really following close. I think this is going to be a double overtake. There's going to be a double overtake from both sides. Apparatus is going to be really almost sandwiched there. He manages to keep it clean through there. Oh, virtual safety car. What has happened? Psycho Sane.
I don't know.
Psycho Sane has spun it around. He still has his front wing, but a virtual safety car has been deployed.
Oh my gosh, that I think that was a good thing for Mebe in the long run, because he was going to be, I think Breezy had him, or was going to have him into turn 4. It doesn't look like nobody's completely off track. I mean, Ladin's way behind on hards, but I don't think that's what caused it. Sorry, I didn't see what caused it, boy. Did you?
No, absolutely not. I was really surprised by that, because I did see Psycho Sane having a spin sort of on the map, but I didn't expect anything to be brought out for that. But yeah, I was just wanting to mention Apparatus doing an amazing job of keeping his front wing after that double sandwich overtake maneuver from both Mebby and Breezy. That was very, very dangerous there. Could have ended up both of them in the wall. All three of them could have been out of the race in that one, but very good job from all three of them. Clean racing, and Mebby again back into the lead of the race. We've only done 6 laps on the virtual safety car. It's been a really long VSC. I'm not sure why we're still under VSC. I really hope that we don't have too much of a glitch here tonight. Oh, and a drive-through penalty for Landon for speeding under VSC.
Oh, it's so hard not to. I feel so bad. I mean, it's so hard not to make that mistake. You know, you're a 10th behind, or no, sometimes you're a second behind in the green on the straights, and then you go into the corner, and in Blinez, you know, it just drops down right away. And it's just so tough to judge. You get a notice that the VSC is ending, and you want to get going, and it's so hard. I feel so bad. They need to. The game might need to figure out a way to make that a little bit easier on everybody. Unfortunately, you always have to try to play it safe with the VSCs. Even though you feel like you're losing time, the worst thing you can do is obviously get a drive-through. So you got to play it safe in the long run. But I have a lot of sympathy for anybody getting drive-throughs during VSCs, because it's tough to judge. It's very tough to judge.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, it showed on stream like Assassin had a crash there, but it wasn't actually. That was just a little glitch there. But it's Mebby in the lead right now, with Breezy pretty much breathing down his neck. And yeah, it's, unfortunately, so many drivers are having bad connections today that I'm seeing people moving up and down the grid, and I'm not sure if that is actually happening or if it's just glitching. So I do apologize to our viewers for that if you guys are seeing that. But hopefully, like, I mean, this is the first time throughout the whole season that we've ever had a situation with bad connections, and it's lasted the whole week. I'm not sure if it's the track, I'm not sure if it's something to do with Codemasters and their servers, and something just about this week, but all 3 races have had this issue, as Assassin now makes a move on Breezy, and doesn't quite work out for him there, so Breezy stays in 2nd place.
Yep, absolutely, Blinn. And this is the moment. I think we just saw Assassin get the fastest lap. This is the moment, or this is kind of the change. We can almost see a little bit. It's starting to get a little bit darker, but this is gonna be the change where the softs. Breezy might go for a look, but no, doesn't make it. But this is where we're gonna see the mediums really start to get a lot better than the softs. The softs are gonna start being a little bit older. And I think this is where Assassin's going to be making his charge. I don't know if you see this, but he has 95% ERS right now. Where, I mean, Breezy still has 75, Mebe at 55. So they still have a decent amount of ERS. But obviously Assassin with a massive uptick in ERS. And I think, again, I think he's going to be going for Breezy and Mebe here pretty soon.
Well, if you guys are just joining us now, this is round 6 of season. Oh no, Mebby in the grass. Mebby touches the grass a little bit there. No. He is in the wall as well. I think he's got damage possibly from that. Maybe,
His wing
possibly.
Looks okay. His wing looks okay.
All right, but he does lose the lead of the race, and now it's Breezy leading with Passasis in second.
Bats is on him. Yep.
And here comes Bats as well. But yeah, it's Breezy in the lead, Passasis in second, Apparatus in third, Maybe now drops down to fourth. And as you mentioned there, Bats Plus is attacking on him already, and Deathwish Tricky is also attacking on Bats Plus. So this is again turned around into even more of an exciting race, and we don't even have the rain yet.
I see rain. I was about to say, Blinn, I see some drops.
Oh, there it is.
Some drops. Yep. So I guess this makes a little bit more sense, and I think Passasis might get Breezy here, but it makes a little more sense for the softs because. And yeah, he's gonna wait till the straight, but it makes more sense for the softs because I think they're not gonna have to worry about pitting before the inters. It looks like the inters are gonna get there beforehand. It's probably only gonna be a few more laps. They're gonna turn off DRS, and we're gonna see guys going in the pit. As we have who is that? Is that Ladin? Oh, yep, he's done the spin. Oh, Breezy, no, Breezy, no, into the wall, just landed in.
Oh no, I did see a piece of wing flying away there on the track. Landon retires, virtual safety car. Oh my goodness.
Are we going to see him pit right now?
Let's see, we're going to switch back to the front, and we're going to see what the front runners are going to do. I did not see any messages for DRS being disabled just yet, but there it is. Oh, and it says DRS enabled.
Enabled? Oh
yeah.
My gosh, we're getting all sorts of glitches, I think, then. This is interesting. I think it looks like Assassin's going to pit.
And it's disabled now. There we go.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Oh, yep. Assassin.
Oh, man. What's happening to Breezy? What is happening to Breezy? Oh, my gosh. I just saw him go into Deathwish. He just spun. Oh, my goodness. I mean... Blinn, 1 lap ago, they were fine on slicks.
This is crazy.
That came quick.
This is exactly like Russia in real life. Now Breezy comes into the pits as well to change everything, because unfortunately he has had some trouble. And Passasin is back out already out of the pits with inters on his car. Apparatus behind him in second, also on inters. Obviously, everybody's putting on inters right now. Bats Plus in third, Maybe in fourth. This race has just turned on its head once again, and the rain is now here. We've got 25 more laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, we at least knew the rain was coming, and we saw a couple of drops. I mean, Blinn, from your experience, would you agree? I mean, that's the fastest switch over to inters I've ever seen on this game. It's normally, you see, especially on Austria. I mean, that was 1 lap ago. We're on lap 10, I remember. I think I even said maybe lap 13, they're switching over to inters. Normally it takes a few laps. You see the drops, you're like, okay, I got to be a little more careful, maybe into a couple more corners, maybe lift it, or not slam the gas out of a couple corners. I'm going to be careful for a couple laps, and then DRS is probably going to turn off, and we'll switch to inters, and that's pretty normal switchover. That was they barely finished the 11th lap, I think it was, before we saw Breezy flying around. Oh, I feel bad. That is a very fast switchover. I don't think any of them were ready for that.
No, that was very, very quick. And if it was us in the car, I'm not sure if the engineer would have even had enough time to let us know that the rain is coming at that point, because it just came out of nowhere, and it came to stay very, very quickly, as we saw. So now all the drivers switch over to the intermediate tires. Landon, unfortunately, is a DNF from this race. Breezy has really gotten hurt by the last couple of laps there. He's now in 11th place from battling for the lead of the race. 007 making up some space, or making up some positions. He's up into 7th place. He started in 13th, so at least the first stint worked out pretty good for him, and maybe he'll be able to get some more positions before we are finished with tonight's race. But right now, Passasin in the lead, only about a second in front of Apparatus, with Bats Plus 6 seconds behind them. So they made that VSC pit stop really work to their advantage.
Yep, absolutely, Glenn. And I don't know, I honestly don't know much about the inters and how long they can last. Glenn, do you know if they'll need to pit? Like, assuming this rain stays exactly the way it is, do you think they'll need to pit one more time before the end of the race, or do you think they can make it?
It all depends on, I think, their tire management and if they're going to have some trouble. Obviously, their setup is going to really come into effect now, but you can
Hmm.
take an intermediate tire, I think, for about 25 laps. It could possibly do that,
Okay.
but they might be quite worn out towards the end of it. So they could possibly jump into the pits depending on how much of a gap they have and change over to new ones, but I don't expect Assassin to do that until he's really losing. Losing his grip.
Yeah, I would agree then. If they can, I mean, at minimum, if a normal tire can do 20 laps, or if a normal inter can do 20 laps, I don't expect them to pit for any reason other than a safety car, maybe a VSC, maybe. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, Possassin's just not going to pit and lose his place, even though, hey, like we saw in real life, so it should have been something Lando did. But again, we are on inters, and yeah, they should probably keep this for the time being, or they should probably keep it throughout the entire race and just manage them. We see KGB up 7 places. I was just taking a look at the places of what we've seen gain, and KGB doing a good job in 5th place, up 7 places. Clinch, or FYKV up 7 places as well, just trying to help out Assassin in the constructors standings. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Oh, and we see Claudio off the track, probably just getting out of the way actually, from Assassin. And yeah, that is gonna come into play, Blaine, especially on a short track. We're gonna see a lot of blue flags. So it's that much more tougher to navigate those, even as someone who's getting lap. I mean, it's tougher to navigate those in the rain.
Yeah, I mean, everything becomes tougher in the rain as P-Doc Peyton retires in the pits, and he becomes a second DNF as we watch Breezy trying to make a move there on Zeppelin, and that doesn't quite work. He actually loses a bit of time because of that attempt there, and now he's going to have to try and catch up on it one more time. Switching over now to Deathwish Tricky, who is catching up on FYKV quite well. He's currently in 9th place and battling it out for that 8th position. That is a couple of extra points if he can get that, and that is definitely important in this championship. As I've mentioned, it's a very, very tight battle, as it always is in the Platinum class, but this season especially. Last season we had Tasmanian Devil winning, I think, the first 6 or 7 races of the season. In this season, we have had 1, 2, 3 different winners in the first 5 races. We had Breezy win the first race, Pradis win the second, and now, of course, Assassin on a string of 3 wins in a row in Canada, China, and Monaco last week. So let's see if he can keep that up, if he can make that 4 wins, because he is currently leading this race as well with 11 laps to go as Deathwish Tricky now looking, going for the switch back on FYKV through turn 4. Can he keep that position as they're now going to go into turn 5? It's going to be tight. He does not keep the position. FYKV manages to keep 8th place for now, but Deathwish really, really close to him.
Yeah, I mean, great. Ooh, and Deathwish almost spin out there, but great defending by FYKV, and great racing overall from both of them. Deathwish obviously going for the cutback, and he goes a little bit wide, and yeah, he's gonna be setting up on the start finish straight for this last, or he's gonna be setting up this pass on the start finish straight for FYKV. It looks like he's got a little bit more pace than him, but at the same time, and he goes a little bit deep. It's so tricky. So tricky not having DRS. He's slipping around a little bit, but I think we're gonna see Deathwish. And if you don't ever, and we've all been there where you don't practice before the race on the wets, and you absolutely should, but it's always tough because you don't know. I mean, the toughest part about being in Platinum is not having the line, and I used to race without a line for a while, and the toughest part, for me at least, was racing in the rain, because all your braking points basically go out the window. So these guys are out there right now trying every lap by lap to learn exactly where they think their braking point is, and unfortunately the weather is always changing even. I mean, it almost looks like blue skies out there even though it is raining. So it's really tough out there, especially without a line.
Yeah, I mean, we could possibly, have a dry race towards the end as well. That could be very, very exciting to watch. But for now, we're still in the rainy conditions, all on the intermediate tires. My standings are jumping all over the place right now for some reason, but there we go. We should be back to normal now. And look at that, Breezy is starting to gain on these two cars we've been following, Deathwish and FYKV. So he wants to join the battle. Here comes Deathwish down the inside into turn 3. We're going to be really side by side through there. They're still side by side through the exit. Looks like Deathwish is a little bit quicker. We have a yellow flag in sector 1 for Stanley. I think Stanley had a little bit of a spin on the last corner on the track. Deathwish down the inside again on FYKV. They're still side by side on the exit. Lots of good battling here. Beautiful, clean driving there. A little bit of a touch.
Yep.
Deathwish goes for another switchback.
Oh my goodness gracious. And I was watching from Breezy's standpoint. He almost hit FYKV, but fantastic racing by both of them. Oh, and here comes Breezy. Is he going to do it into turn 9? Oh, it looks like he might make it work. Looks like FYKV struggling just a little bit on these wet tires. And as they come around, they're going to lap Claudio again. But Deathwish, what a great pass. What a great battle by both of them. Playing it fair, giving each other space, but also giving each other, racing as hard as they can. So great job by Deathwish right there. That was textbook.
And here's a couple of other drivers now joining this battle. It's LAS Zeppelin. He is not too far away from FYKV now, and he can see Breezy and Deathwish in front of them as well. So these guys are going to be getting closer and closer to each other if he can keep it on this pace. And we're now halfway through the race, 18 more laps to go.
Yep, absolutely. And I think Assassin is basically just going to at this point, he just can't make mistakes, which is for him probably going to be pretty easy. Again, like we talked about Blinn, they're probably not going to need to pit again on these inters unless the tires are really going harder than we think they would. So I think as long as Assassin isn't going to make mistakes, I think this top 3 is probably going to be what ends it. And the battle in the midfield continues on. And at the end of the day, in a wet race, Blinn, we all know what can happen. Anybody can spin out at any point. Anybody could take a corner long or go too long or brake too early and just spin out. So you never want to give up on here. And as we see, I'm on step 1 right now, coming on at FYKV. He's unfortunately getting eaten up right now, but he thinks better of it. And FYKV goes a little long. Again, that's all it takes sometimes, and we're probably going to see a good battle between them right now. Going into turn 4, and Zeppelin gets a little bit more grip on FYKV.
Yeah, this is very, very close. Assassin still leading by 2.3 seconds from Apparatus. Bats Plus in 3rd, dropping back even further. He's now 9.3 seconds behind Apparatus, and maybe in 4th, couple of seconds behind Bats Plus. Oh, there goes another standings glitch. Oh, man, I'm not sure what is going on with Codemasters this week, but, I mean, they've been relatively good throughout the season. We haven't, as I said, we haven't really had too many connection issues, but throughout this week, there's just been something going on. Hopefully, it gets fixed before we go to the next race next week in Silverstone. We're going to be going to Britain, the original and the very first F1 Grand Prix in real life. We're going to be back there once again in this league. I think we've pretty much raced in Britain almost every season, or at least every season that I've been in TCR. So it's going to be a really, really good race there. I can't wait for that one. And Silverstone is another one of those tracks like Austria where there's a lot of incidents. There's a lot of, really tricky corners. Austria has the lowest amount of corners on any track. It's only 10 in total. But Silverstone has some really, famous corners like Cobbs and You've got, Megans and Beckett's and all of those. So it's going to be a really, really great race to watch. Obviously, weather could be a factor in Britain at any time. So get excited for
Yep.
that one. We'll be starting that with Tuesday's race for Silver Class. But for now, still on lap 21 of 36, still 15 laps to go here tonight in round 6 at the Austrian Grand Prix. Fire up, Flo. What do you think so far of the race? Oh, as we see Breezy
No.
going for another spin out of the exit of turn 1, unfortunately, and spins it back around and back on track.
Oh, it's so tough to see because as a racer, you know exactly how something like that feels, and exactly what I was saying earlier. You know, someone who's not in the points, let's say like FYKV or Zeppelin, who's right in 10th. This is when you can't give up. And you know just something like this can happen to anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how good you are. This can happen to anyone. And coming out of that first corner, I mean, you hit the gas wrong, and you're bound to spin. So I feel for Breezy because now he's in 11th right now, and he's got to try to fight back and hope maybe someone else in front of him makes a mistake. It's going to be a tough next 14 laps for him in the rain. Yeah, and as we're talking, Pisassin just commanding lead still. 3.3 seconds above Apparatus.
Yeah, and we're switching over now to 007, who's the closest one out of any driver to another driver on track right now. He's about 0.8 of a second behind Dreamsy, and Dreamsy doing a really great job without any of the assists, without the line, without anything, reserving here in Platinum Class tonight, sitting comfortably in 6th place right now, about a couple of seconds behind Black Angel, and actually closing down that gap slowly but surely.
Yep, absolutely doing a good job, 007. And yeah, at this point, he looks like he's got, the tough part for 007 now is he's got much less ERS than Dreamy. But at the same time, in the wet weather, it is very easy to get that ERS back up. But he's just going to be on the hunt now. Just going to be trying to plan it out, watch for Dreamy to make a mistake, push as close as he can on him. And, as we all know, if we see someone right behind us, we want to go a little bit faster, and we come out of the corner, we might gas it a little hard, and that could be it. And at the same time, Mebe, coming against Bats. Yeah, again, Mebe is trying really hard, and again, I think we'll see these tires go till the end of the race. So at the same time, it's, we have 13 laps, so it's okay to be patient. If you're someone like Mebe and you're trying to get on the podium, at any point, Bats can make a very simple mistake, and that could be the podium. So just stay behind him, stay consistent, try to get as good of a feel as you can, and figure out your braking points, and he could easily be on the podium.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's really great job. Oh, Apparatus into the pits. I was going to say great job from Mebby, because Mebby did drop back, but he was the original pole sitter for this race, and he is now possibly in contention to get back onto the podium. But where is Apparatus going to come out? So he's going to lose those 2 places to Mebby and Bats. How far behind is KGB? Oh yeah, KGB is very far behind. So Apparatus, brand new set of intermediates. Let's see if that changes anything here tonight.
Blend, I think that's a real statement right there, because we don't know exactly what's happening to the tires right now, and if he's pitting for inters, or if he's pitting for another set of inters with 12 laps to go, I gotta believe. I mean, what percent do you think they're at right now? Maybe 40%. I don't know. I can't think of another reason. He didn't change his wing. He just changed tires. He was in 2nd place. Really interested to see if Pisassin pits right now. To try to cover it. And no, he doesn't. He stays out. I don't know. These guys know stuff that we don't know, apparently, because, we talked about before, we thought maybe they'd go to the end. But if we got Apparatus pitting, and he's not even changing a wing, maybe the tires are getting pretty bad. Maybe he could make a comeback.
That's absolutely true. I mean, right now, watching as Mebby is still gaining on Bats Plus, and these 2 guys, they seem to be doing pretty good on these intermediate tires. I don't see them having too much trouble as Bats Plus actually goes a little bit wide there through turn 1, but keeps it all together. Here comes Mebby up the hill. Is he going to go for the overtake into this corner? No, he is going to slam on the brakes there, but they're right on the back of each other. This is absolutely incredible. It cannot be any closer than that. Mebby on the traction there, getting a little bit spinny, and has to try again. So yeah, without the DRS, this track turns into a completely different situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And gosh, oh, and as we see 007 on Dreamy, this could be, it's so hard when you're right behind someone going out of turn 3. You just want to do everything in your power to slam on the gas, but you know in your heart you can't. It's almost like the worst feeling because you want to get right up there. And 007 is going to have to keep looking at Dreamy's backside, but hopefully he can make it up. And I'm still keeping an eye on apparatus. It looks like I think he, Blinn, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he came out about 7.5 seconds behind.
Yep.
So he's closing a little bit on Mebe, but not a whole lot. And we haven't seen Mebe or Bats or Passassin pit yet. And Mebe.
Yeah, here he comes up the hill now into turn 3. Let's see if it's going to work. Oh, he locks up. He goes a little bit deep. Bats Plus is going to come back at him on the traction. He's short shifting all the way up into 6th gear. That was absolutely incredible. And here comes Mebby down the inside, though. How is this going to work out? They're going to be side by side. They're keeping it nice and clean. A tiny little bit of contact there as Mebby sends it around the outside, and the Bats Plus down the inside into the next corner. They're still side by side. This is some incredible racing here. The only problem is this is letting Apparatus close up more and more time as Mebby finally moves up into P2.
Yeah, I mean, geez, fantastic racing, and yes, they did make a little bit of contact there, but I think both of them are driving completely fair. No one's pushing off each other completely. Everyone's giving each other enough space. That was just a fantastic battle in the rain between Bats and Mebe. Just like you said, Blinn, Apparatus, I think we were just talking, I think he was 6.5 seconds behind. Now he's 5 seconds flat. It's so interesting. I think Passassin and Mebe and Bats at this point, again, we don't know exactly what the tires are doing, but at this point you got to believe they're going till the end. So it'll be fun to see how much quicker Apparatus is going to come up at the end of the race. He could be on the podium, no problem.
Oh, there was a little bit of a yellow in Sector 2, but I think that was just for a blue flag. Yeah, and Passassin still increasing his gap on Mebe right now. Not by much, but by about a couple of tenths a lap. He is, so that must mean that he's feeling pretty comfortable on his 15-lap all tires, about to be 16-lap all tires here in just a second, as it looks like Dreamsy there making a move on 007, but doesn't make it stick as he goes deep into turn 4, and 007 back up into P6 once again. 5-second penalty for FYKV speeding into the pits, and he is going to retire in the pits as well. And yeah, that is unfortunate for the teammate of Passassin, who is currently in the lead, and of course also unfortunate for Mercedes, who are currently in the lead of the Constructors' Championship. Back to the front though, Bats Plus not really letting Mebby go, about 0.8 of a second behind him, and he's keeping within that range. Whereas Apparatus 4 seconds behind now, Bats Plus, so he's getting about a second a lap.
Yeah, Blinn, you're absolutely right. And I think at this point, Passassin's never pitting. Even if he was going to pit, he's got to do it now. But he's never pitting at this point. 16 seconds above Mebe. He's just never pitting. He's just going to conserve his tires, and he should never be worried about it. It's so interesting that Apparatus is the only one to pit for new inters. I'm so curious to see exactly how. Maybe we'll have to watch it afterwards, or watch the guys' videos on YouTube or Twitch afterwards to see exactly where their tires are at. But I'm so interested to see what Bats and Mebe's are at. Apparatus, yeah, he's 3.5 seconds out. You're absolutely right, Blinn. It's almost a second a lap, a little bit less, but it's almost a second a lap that he's catching on him. I think we might see a really good battle at the end of the race, and Apparatus is probably going to have the upper hand.
7 laps to go. If you guys are watching, thank you so much for your support of TCR. Make sure you leave us a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Send in some comments into the live chat. I've only seen a couple come in at the start there from Kyle Dyer. He's saying, oh, Dreamzy is here. I haven't seen him in a long time. We've seen Dreamzy all week here. He's been racing in Austria throughout Tuesday, Wednesday, and now Thursday in Platinum as well. A little bit of a yellow flag there briefly in Sector 2, but nothing major going on. And also, guys, make sure you check out the links in the description of this video for our website where you can sign up to race in TCR if you're interested. We race on the PlayStation system and on the F1 2021 game. We have 3 tiers, the Silver, the Golden, and the Platinum class here tonight. Silver and Golden do allow some assists. In Silver, you can have medium traction and ABS enabled, and the Racing Line. In the Golden class, it's only Racing Line, and then in Platinum, these guys are racing with nothing at all. No ABS, no traction, no Racing Line, no assists whatsoever. Other than that, we also have a link there for affiliate sponsor Fanatec. Of course, one of the best manufacturers there for the racing equipment. If you guys are looking to get some for yourself, make sure you use that link because you'll be supporting TCR in doing so as well. And back to the race here on lap 30 of 36. P-Doc Payton has now left the session. He has retired earlier from the race. So has FYKV just about a lap ago. So we're down to 14 runners, and Passassin almost 17 seconds ahead of Mebi in the lead of the race. His teammate unfortunately retired there a little bit ago, as I mentioned. Now we're watching as Breezy is catching up on Zeppelin. Breezy was right up at the front up until he had a little bit of an incident. Oh, it looks like Claudio. No, it's Stanley. Stanley has had a spin, and he's been in the wall briefly there. I'm not sure if he's got damage on the car, but he's very slow to get back on track. He definitely has damage on that front wing, just a tiny little bit. Breezy and Zeppelin battling it out, wheel to wheel. And it looks like Breezy. Yeah, he's going to take that P9. So as I was mentioning, he did have a little bit of a spin earlier on, or a couple of spins, but made it back into the points now in 9th place. But definitely could have had a much better night here tonight, Breezy, if not for the couple of incidents that he's had. Now, back to the front, or sort of to the front, midway. We've got Deathwish Tricky catching up on Dreamzy. The battle for 7th place, and also, of course, the battle that we've been talking about and waiting for. Apparatus now 1.3 seconds behind Bats Plus.
Yep, he's right there. He's getting closer and closer, and I mean, they are on what? Let me double check. Yeah, I mean, the guys who are on intermediates are on their 19 laps, or they're on their 19th lap. Apparatus has a chance to even get into second. I do think it'll be tough to get there, but he's definitely going to be looking at Bats to try to take that last podium place. And as we see, Deathwish and Dreamies a little bit up the field. But yeah, at this point, no, I'm 100% certain no one else is going to be pitting for any reason. And it's really curious to see that Apparatus is the only one that pitted. I think and tell me, where was he at when he pitted, Glenn? Sorry, I don't remember. Was he in second?
He was second. Yeah, he was second, and he lost those 2 positions to both Mebi and Bats. So that's when we weren't sure that this is going to work out for him. He's now about 0.6 of a second behind Bats. But yeah, I'm not sure if he can get back up to 2nd place. He might be able to get... well, he's definitely going to be able to get Bats as long as he makes it a clean one. But, yeah, 2nd place might be out of reach now, as Mebi is 2.4 seconds ahead.
Yeah, I wonder. I do really wonder. It's so curious to know exactly where their tires are at, because maybe Apparatus thought he was doing an undercut at one point, and unfortunately, honestly, for him, Bats and everybody else around him, Mebe, Passassin, saw him pit and just thought, nope, that's not the strategy I'm going to do. And I think it was the right strategy for Bats to stay out there for sure, to try to gain a couple places. But, yes, I think as long as he makes it clean, we'll probably see him get 3rd in a couple places. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, it probably would have been the safer bet to stay out on those tires. But hey, as we know, you always got to gamble. And, at the end of the day, apparatus doesn't know if that gamble's going to turn out to a win. So, I mean, sometimes you just got to go for it. And I think it's going to turn out good for us. We got 007 coming up on KGB, and we got apparatus right there from Bat. So, even at the end of this race in Death Wish, we're going to have a couple great battles, even with only 4 laps left.
Absolutely, and there's lots of battling going on. Death Wish on Dreamsy there. He's getting dangerously close now, and no moves happening just yet. But as you mentioned, anything could still happen. I mean, all of these guys on really, really old intermediates, it only takes one touch of a curb somewhere, and you'll be spinning around, or you might even possibly get a puncture, or just overheating tires. Anything else like that, it's not a good recipe in the sort of conditions that we've got on track here tonight. But right now, as it stands, Passassin still pretty comfortably in front, 18 seconds ahead of Bats Plus, or Mebi, sorry, and then Bats Plus in third, about 3.5 seconds behind Mebi. But Apparatus behind Bats Plus, he's getting closer. They're coming up the hill into turn 3. He's not going to go for the move here just yet, but this is now going to open up for him there as Bats Plus goes a little bit deep on the exit, but it's so hard to get the traction down on the exit of that corner, and Apparatus unfortunately is going to possibly have to wait again. Is he going to go for a late lunge? No, he does not.
Yeah, yeah. Turn 3 is so scary, especially for Apparatus and Bats. I mean, because if you gas it too hard right there, with 3 laps to go, Blinn, I mean, you could easily be in the wall, and you might not even get points. So it's like a push-pull type of situation. Like, Apparatus is so close to him, but Bats at the same time knows he can't just slam the gas. He's got to be patient. He's got to be confident in his defending, and I do believe that he can defend this. I mean, they got 2 more laps to go. He can defend this if he needs to. And yeah, Apparatus is going to try to set it up. I think Apparatus' best bet is going to be going into turn 3.
Well, let's see here. Only a couple more laps to go as we're now on 35. He locks up massively, goes down the inside though. Is this going to make it work? He is going to be side by side with Bats Plus as they're going to be going down the straight into turn 4. They're going to be wheel to wheel coming into the corner there. A little bit of a lockup from both of them. A little touch, but they're still side by side on the exit now on the rundown into turn 5. This is where it gets dangerous, but Apparatus up into P3 as it stands right now. As long as he can keep it in front, he's back on the podium.
Yep. Apparatus forcing the issue against Bats, and I think Bats can make an argument to Apparatus being a little aggressive there, but at the same time, I think the stewards will say that is absolutely fine. I think that was great racing for Apparatus. Was aggressive, but also absolutely fair. Again, it's hard to not make contact when you're in wet conditions. They're absolutely not trying to hit each other. And Apparatus clearly had more traction. And unfortunately for Bats, he's on super old tires, 24 laps. It's tough to defend at the end of the race on old tires, and I think we're about to see Passassin coming in near the end of the lap, or not near the end of the lap, but about the middle, and he's just going to cruise right to the finish line and take another first place. Congrats to him.
We might get another overtake here in a second as 007 is trying to go on the KGB, but it's not going to really work there as Passassin rounds up the last corner and the checkered flag is being waved for him as he waves his car across the line and completely smashes it after the finish, but he gets another win in Season 12, and that's 4 in a row for him. What an amazing performance there. Did not get the pole position here tonight. I'm not sure if he got the fastest lap or not. He did, so that's an extra point there to his championship lead. Mebi finishes second. Apparatus in third place. Bats Plus in fourth. I think Apparatus is going to be a little bit disappointed with that, though. Could have possibly been a P2, but that undercut and switch over to another set of intermediates didn't quite work out, but he was very, very close to it being a really nice strategy there. So who else do we have coming across the line now? KGB Black Angel, 007 in 6th there, Dreamzy in 7th, Deathwish in 8th, Breezy is going to get P9, and Zeppelin is going to get the last point in tonight's race, as we see all the drivers crossing the line now, and Passassin with another win to his name in Season 12.
Yep, but that was a fantastic race. It was fun to watch. I mean, Passassin, I think I've said this before in other races, just putting on an absolute clinic. Yeah, I mean, not much else to be said. I think when he started, I think he started in 3rd or 4th, but I think he knew at the time when he was on the mediums that all he had to do was be patient. He knew he was going to win this race. He had incredible pace, especially, I mean, you got to remember, these guys are racing without a line blend and in the rain. That makes it incredibly tough. You know, sometimes you can know exactly where you're supposed to brake in the dry, but the rain comes on, that can make it pretty tough. So hats off to, honestly, everybody in this group. Fantastic racing. Some of the most fair racing, too. I mean, side-by-side action. You know, guys making a little bit of contact, but obviously not doing it aggressively. So, fantastic race.
Yep.
Happy to be here and commentate on it.
Absolutely. So let's run through it again. Passassin wins, Maybe in 2nd, Apprentice in 3rd, Bats Plus in 4th, KGB in 5th, 007 in 6th. We have Dreamzy in 7th, Deathwish in 8th, Breezy in 9th, and Zeppelin in 10th. And then we had Psycho Sane and Bamboo in 11th and 12th, Stanley in 13th, Claudio in 14th, and then we had the DNFs of FYKV, P-Doc Payton, and Landon. But as Fire Up Flow mentioned here just a moment ago, we had a lot of stuff happening in tonight's race. A lot of great overtaking, great battling. The weather, of course, obviously shaking things up. We had a couple of VSCs that sort of worked out to a couple of drivers' advantage as well, as they managed to get some time in the pits, even overtake. And then we had some drivers trying out some different strategies as well that definitely added to the whole unpredictability of the race here tonight. So, yeah, if you guys missed out on that one, definitely make sure you rewind and take another look, because this was a great race here tonight. We had a couple of connection issues for a couple of drivers, but hopefully that will all clear up by next week. It actually got cleared up in the last 10 laps of tonight's race. It all just went perfect and everybody had a great connection all of a sudden. So I'm not sure if it was maybe one driver that had a bad connection that was messing it up, but as I mentioned, hopefully Codemasters can figure this out with the help of EA now. Hopefully we'll get some better connection for Silverstone next week. But we've invited our drivers into the podium interviews now. I did see Passassin joining us already. I'm not sure if Mebby or Apprentice are here yet, but I did already invite them.
Apprentice here.
All right, perfect. So let's start with Apprentice then, because he did finish here tonight in P3. Apprentice, can you hear us?
I can.
All right. Well, congratulations on P3. I know it was a little bit of a weird finish for you there, because it could have possibly been P2, but you decided to go on another set of intermediate tires. Tell us a little bit about that. Was it the tire wear that sort of put you onto that, or did you think that there is a chance there for an undercut to make it work?
To be honest, I think it was all just inexperience, because I thought for sure by the time it'd be the last 5 laps, their tires would be absolutely shot, but they kind of really weren't. They're putting good laps. So that was my first wet race. So to be honest, that was just a beginner mistake. I wouldn't have done that if I knew the tires wouldn't have dagged that much and you wouldn't lose that much lap time. But it is what it is. You make the best of it. P3 is good.
Absolutely, and I think it's a pretty good comeback after the last couple of races that you've had. You had a DNF, a disqualification that was very, very weird, of course, in Canada, and then unfortunately couldn't make it to last week's race. So back on the podium again, getting some points to your name. It's going to bounce you up a few positions on the standings as well. How are you feeling for Silverstone next week?
To be honest, besides Passassin putting in a stellar lap on mediums in qualifying, the fact that I don't think I did any practice besides maybe one day on Saturday with Jones just dicking around. But for no practice and getting second place in qualifying, I was elated. I was having a great time. So today was great. I was ashamed I didn't get second, but I had fun. It was great.
All right, Fire Up Flow, do you have any questions for Apprentice?
No, well, I guess I have one question. Press, do you remember exactly what percent? Because Glenn and I were kind of talking about it. What percent was your deg at when you pitted?
It wasn't. I didn't look at the DAG. I couldn't really tell you, but that wasn't the issue. I just thought maybe they would have. Once again, it was just inexperience with the wet tires and how long they would go, and I just thought maybe Passassin would have to have pitted, and I just thought maybe I'd get a cheeky undercut and maybe just gain some lap time because he has some penalty infractions that are coming to him after the race. So I thought maybe I could just stay within him, but it is what it is. I just inexperience.
All right. Well, congrats again on P3. Good luck next week in Britain.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Let's take a look here. I didn't see Mebby joining, but Mebby, are you with us?
No, I don't think I see him. But...
No, it doesn't look like it, but congratulations to Mebby in the Ferrari getting a P2 here tonight. He did get the pole position. It was a very close battle, but as we saw on the stream there, he went a little bit wide. I think it was through turn 3 and then got overtaken by a couple of cars. So great job for him for a recovery, making it back onto the podium. And P2, great amount of points for him. It's going to definitely help him out in the championship standings. And now let's go over to, I guess, becoming a little bit, a regular here in these post-race interviews in the Platinum class this season. It wasn't so for the first couple of rounds of the season, but now for the last 4 rounds, we've seen this guy getting pole positions, getting fastest laps, and also getting the wins. Didn't get the pole position here tonight, but did get the fastest lap, an extra point, 26 full points for you, Passassin, in the Mercedes. Congratulations on your 4th win. Just tell us about it from your perspective. How did it go?
Yeah, it was a great execution in the race. Quali went well, of course, setting a stellar lap on the mediums. Then comes the race. Thinking the rain would be coming later, I did the mediums, but it came sooner than expected, of course, but mediums seemed to be a better race tire in the dry, so took advantage of it any opportunity I could. Lost the position at the start, of course, you saw, but yeah, I just tried to keep it safe behind, not go for any unnecessary move. When I passed Prattis, I was making it look like I was going to go for the move, but I was never going to go for that move. But he broke a little bit too late, unfortunately for him, but yeah, good race by him. Unfortunate with the strategy call, but yeah, next time he'll certainly get it. My tire wear at the end, if you were going to ask, was around 50, so yeah, it was perfect execution.
Absolutely.
And happy with that. Very happy with that.
Knowing that the rain was coming, was that pretty much a strategy for you? Did you is that why you decided to qualify on those medium tires, so you could just pretty much go for a one-stop from medium to intermediates? And did you know that the intermediates were going to last?
I mean, I was kind of skeptical at the beginning of but after the consistent about 2% wear per lap, for me, I was confident it would be going to the end, so yeah, I mean, concerning the race start tire, yeah, I thought the soft guys weren't going to make it, so I thought mediums would be fine if it was going to come later. I'd be having a pace advantage if they were trying to stay out, because the mediums are better than the softs longer.
All right.
But, yeah,
just sounds like you had a great plan and everything just worked out there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have minded the rain coming out a little bit later, but you know what? It's still great execution on all sides of everything.
Absolutely. Fire Up Flo, your questions for our winner tonight.
No questions. I mean, yeah, I was a little bit curious about the percentage of deg they were at the end of the race, just because Sabres pit. But honestly, just congrats, amazing pace, and I saw your lap on YouTube too of the 2.8. Very impressive Possession. So congrats, fantastic race.
All right. Well, yeah, congrats again on
Before we go, hold on.
Yep.
Before we go, I just want to say quick thanks to all the commentators who participated over this weekend and weeks before. We all appreciate it. Quick shout out. You guys are the real heroes. Appreciate it. Make the watching it a lot more fun.
Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate it as well.
Thanks a lot. Yep.
Yeah, wanted to say as well, congrats to all of the podium finishers. Congrats to Assassin for a 4th win in a row in Season 12. Let's see if he can keep it up and make it 5 in a row in Silverstone next week. We'll be back for that race on Tuesday. We're starting with the Silver class, Wednesday with Golden class, and then this Platinum class will be back on Thursday. And as always, it's at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Fire and Flow, your closing remarks, your comments, anything that you want to say?
No, just gonna say it was fantastic racing at Austria. I think everybody is normally pretty happy with that track and loves it, and we're going to almost an even better track in my opinion next week. So really, really excited to watch all the races and be a part of the race too in Golden. So yeah, I hope everyone has a good weekend.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you for joining me in the booth for another commentary here tonight. I really appreciate it, and thank you to everyone who's joined us throughout the stream. If you guys have been watching, great thank you to all of you. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, leave some more comments on the video if you guys are rewatching it later, and join us next week in Silverstone for round 7 of this Season 12 of Trinity Competitive Racing. But for tonight, from all of the Platinum drivers, from everybody in TCR, thank you so much, and we will see you guys next week. Have a great night. If you guys have been watching, great thank you to all of you. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, leave some more comments on the video if you guys are rewatching it later, and join us next week in Silverstone for round 7 of this Season 12 of Trinity Competitive Racing. But for tonight, from all of the Platinum drivers, from everybody in TCR, thank you so much, and we will see you guys next week. Have a great night.